hold a lot of respect for him. So in the early days, I was introduced to this contract and the process through John, and I was, like I said, in the early days, I was supportive of it until I found out more about who and what Veolia water is, some of the past, some of the things that may cause us problems into the future, and that's when I determined that it wasn't something that I could support. And and a lot of that has to do with the way the company has operated in terms of how far they've pushed the envelope for corporate profits, right? Our water, St. Louis, we have a great reputation in terms of our water. We have the best tasting water in America. Everybody knows that. One of the challenges is how do we begin operating more efficiently and really turn this water system into a revenue generating entity. I think we have the ability to do that. I think some of the things that will come out of this study really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I think part of the things, and not having the resources within the department to perform those tasks, we end up in a situation like we have now, where we may not know, we may not be 100% in terms of who's paying what and why, and is a company now at this address and should they be paying more? Are they metered, not metered, all that kind of stuff. And part of an engagement like with a company like Veolia Water will allow you to ID that. But the part that I'm driving at is all of these things when we begin to think of them. Whether it's replacing them, whether it's adding water meters to the places that currently do not have water meters, whether it's repairing the broken pipes, whether it's a rate hike at the end of the day. All those things we have. None of those things are beyond the basic capabilities of a water department given the resources to carry it out. So all of this is to be able to build that case so that we indeed at the end of the day give them the resources to do it. And I think other companies carry that out other than Veolia Water because of some of their checkered past.
Okay. Do you have a company within the four proposals that you think would have been more better, or you think there should have been other companies outside those that gave proposals that should be considered?
I'm not going to pick one or the other, but I can say this. Here's an example. Johnson Controls, they produced a report. They did a complete, study of our water department, the water metering of our system. And one of the things that they brought to us, they said, hey, when we go in and we put water meters in, or if we have to replace water meters, add new water meters or whatever. There's different technologies that are available now where we can build a free Wi-Fi network for residents of the city of St. Louis, because the water meters that we would put in would be Wi-Fi connected. And we can allow now the residents or the people to jump on the Wi-Fi network. There's all kinds of things like that some of these companies have talked about. And Johnson's Controls, they have they're a decent company.
And I believe you're right too. The other things, just say if they would get a warrant to go out there and do the study and everything, and you come up to phase 2 and everything. Anything's possible. You can get for the city side, hey, we make this, have the old run as far as we're not paying the percentage, things like that. And I know we have to go, to the voters to change that.
Not necessarily. See, the play of words that everybody engaged in is selling up the water department. They say, well, you can't sell the water department. Well, you're right, but I can enter into a 25-year agreement that's automatic renewals if the city does not request exit from the contract a year and a half in advance. We can do it. At the end of the day, that's essentially selling or advocating or changing the water department, because then you no longer have control of the water department. The Veolia Water is the largest outsourcer of water systems in the world. And a company like that, they have attorneys that are very adept and very good at doing what they're doing in terms of shaping and molding those things so that at the end of the day, it's essentially a sale. So, as
passion. My question is, I'm stuck on this proprietary, so maybe you can explain why we would pay you to produce a product and you give us the rights to it, but you maintain that it's proprietary to Veolia. I don't get that.
Well, I'll start out and then I'll let Steve piggyback off of that. You know, we don't produce anything that is, we don't introduce any hardware or whatever. What we use is packages that others can use as well. But what we do bring to the table is we bring data from our 150 years of experience and our 8,500 projects that we work with throughout the world. And so that is the data that we want to protect, and also from a pricing standpoint. So it's sort of like, you know, we're willing to give you the sausage, but we don't want to tell you how we really make the sausage to a certain extent. So it's that kind of data that that's beholden to us and that we value, because that is data that does belong to other communities. The same thing, the information from St. Louis. We would not want others to have that data as well. And I'll let Steve piggyback off of that.
Well, actually, Dave hit the key points. All of our operating systems are shrink wrap software that anyone can buy. So there's no proprietary software that we bring to the table. And the proprietary nature is our price model that generates the sausage. The recipe behind that. We're going to give you the report. The data is yours to use as you see fit.
You use a lot of our data to give us back your data.
Correct.
Why do we need the data from other places?
We do an extensive benchmarking analysis, an example of which is this right here. You know, when you compare St. Louis to other cities which are the same size, it stands out that there's something more to look at.
Okay.
We do the same type of analysis for the kilowatts per million gallons, for the number of customer service agents per customer, dozens of different metrics, benchmark metrics that we use to make sure that, and to identify places where we can bring opportunities for savings.
Okay, but if we can use exclusively all the data, I think my colleague from the 28 asked a question about, public record, the sunshine law. I don't remember what the response was, but isn't this, can't the city put this on the website? So we can publish a report on the website which will include your proprietary data.
It may not include that proprietary data that we utilize in coming up with some of the recommendations. So that would be the report. Yes, it's public knowledge. You can go today and look at the New York City report. There's an executive summary out there, then there is a detailed report. But what it doesn't have in it is it doesn't have all of for example, it doesn't have all the projects throughout the world that are the size of New York City or the size of Pittsburgh. It doesn't list all of their data. We utilize that data in the background to come up with, as Steve mentioned, the benchmarks, the KPIs in running the business, those key performance indicators that make you the best of the best and put you in certain tiers that you can brag about at a later date.
Now, I know that